Brady. This is going to be exciting.
Here we got career starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tricky Triangle. Pocono Raceway up here, Pocono, Pennsylvania, for the next round of the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. Gonna be some very, very fast excitement here tonight with these open wheel race cars, with all of what Goat Locker has to offer, some of the best here for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. You'll see it all live here on V-Speed. Good evening, folks. I'm the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. Obviously got my buddy over here, Mr. Jinx, Daniel Cunningham in the house on co-commentary, and obviously Double L, Lucas Lyons on the production here tonight. Daniel, buddy, I missed out on last week. Y'all were, hell, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know where the hell y'all was at last week, but I know at the road course, I was busy, a little bit a week and a half ago. If y'all didn't know, a new addition to the family, a new little redneck announcer. Thank you very much for that, Lucas. Put that graphic on there. But yeah, I'm just fresh back from the new addition, David Dean, joining the Reeves family. So, Daniel, how the hell have you been for the past 2 or 3 weeks? And try to refresh everybody, and at least refresh me on what happened last week.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jake, you missed a hell of a finish last week between Regis Clark and Jake Ellingson. You know, you've been sitting here waiting for some kind of, heroics or something wild on the last lap, and going into, it wasn't quite the last lap, it was last turn of lap 2 coming to the white flag. Some contact between Jake Ellingson and Regis Clark, and it gave Jake Ellingson the win. But yeah, hey, congrats on the new baby. That is more important than anything we're doing here with the sim, with the broadcasting. Happy for you, happy for the wife. Hopefully y'all can find some time to get some sleep somewhere along the line. But yeah, Ken Huber filled in for you last week, and it was nice to have somebody up in the booth that knows road course racing, because you and I are just winging it when we're up here talking about road courses. So and I mean, that's true. We both know it's true. We're just up here winging it when it comes to the right turn. So it was nice to have one of our resident road racers in the house last week, but excited to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be back. And real quick, just throwing it out there for everybody else. He is well. David Dean is well. He is healthy. Mama is healthy as well, which is obviously the main thing out of everything. But real quick, get back to the matter at hand. Let's look at some point standings for what we got going on. And there you see it right there. Regis Clark's still holding on. He's got about a 16-point lead, give or take, over Brandon Evans. Let me rephrase that, 14 points over Brandon Evans. Tyler Justice, 21, back into 33. Jake Ellingson, you mentioned it, with Regis Clark in their battle last week. Ellingson up to 4th as of right now. Then there you go, Brian Provo, Eddie Smith, Kevin Price, Devin Smith, Jamie Libke, and Brock Price. That is the top 10 as far as the points goes. Jake Ham is the one that I'm looking at right here. I mean, honestly, Daniel, because Jake Ham, we see him on the Tuesday night series. We see what he does in the 87s. He comes over here in these Lincoln Tech Indy cars, and he's like he's human, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but he still had some good runs. Had that really strong battle with Regis Clark at Road America, where it came down to the last lap, them two just trading blows back and forth. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see him get one and win one of these races before we round out the summer series here in the Indy cars. And just real quick, had to take a look at our live chat already tonight. Mama Ellingson out there saying, don't remind Jake. He felt so bad. I know he did. He was beating himself up about it even in his interview. We still got to poke a little bit of fun at him, though, whenever the chance comes up.
Yeah, we take it any way that we can. I mean, you know how they know how we are. We're always trying to screw with somebody any way that we can. Take a look real quick at our race details for this evening. Obviously, it is the Goat Locker way. And obviously, with 70 laps, 55 on the pit road, unlimited sets tires. Remember, Patrick Dravitt, Jamie Barkus, they basically foot the bill on the tires. They got to worry about them damn things. And 2 green, white checkers, 100% fuel capacity. You see it right there, 28 to 32 laps on a tank of fuel here for these Lincoln Tech Indy cars. And real quick, as the grid is gridding up, Daniel, talking about this track, we talked about it. You see the long straightaway, 3 straight straightaways, no pun intended, but this son of a gun is massive.
It really is. And, we saw, just an insane amount of passing when we were at Indianapolis with the long straightaways, just the runs that they get in the draft. And I think we are going to be in for more of that this evening. The lead changes only count when they happen at the start-finish line, but we might be seeing 2 or 3 of them a lap here tonight.
It will be a blast to see what happens. Well, folks, here we go, getting ready for the starting grid. Here for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series at Pocono Raceway. Starting up on the pole, your Jeb Printing Promotions Pole Award winner, Mr. Tyler Justice in the 33 with a 41.946. And real quick, with Jam Printing Promotions, the title sponsor for the Pole Award, since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. So thank you very much to Jam Printing and Promotions for the title sponsor of the Pole Award winner. As I mentioned, Tyler Justice, 33. You saw it a while ago in the points. 3rd in the standings coming into the night. He's going to be rolling off from P1. Eddie Smith in the 87 will be to his outside, starting in P number 2. Regis Clark, talked about him, that little battle with Jake Ellison last week, and your point leader coming into the night. He'll roll off from P3, with Jamie Lemke rolling off on his outside. Jake Ellison, talked about him. Ironic enough, Regis Clark starting in front of Jake Ellison. Ironic enough. I mean, Daniel, we can't get away from it. It just happens. I mean, it literally writes itself. Jake Ellison rolling off from P5. 39 of Brandon Evans will be rolling off from P6. Mike Brown and Kevin Price, 7th and 8th. And the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Travick rolling off P9 to his outside is Jason Kristen.
As we take a look back through the rest of the field, we got Jake Ham and Brock Price in row 6 and 11th and 12th. Starting 13th, Tim Bates. 14th, Devin Smith. Starting in 15th tonight, we've got Charles Abert. To his outside, Kyle Deering. Starting in 17th, Daniel Parks. Ricky Sisk Jr. in 18th. And rounding out our field tonight, going to be Kevin Orlando starting 19th. And Jake, right before you threw it to me for the rest of the grid, you mentioned the man, the myth, the legend himself, the boss man, Patrick Dravick, starting in 9th. He's won our first 2 oval races this season. And you know what? We're going to test the theory out tonight. We're going to see what is stronger, Patrick Dravick on ovals or my ability to screw over whoever I pick as my pre-race pick. I'm going to take the first pick tonight. I'm picking the 07 to go 3 for 3 on the ovals here in this season.
You would. You really would. I mean, I'm not surprised one bit. I tell you what, give me the man that's up there starting in the 5th spot. Mama Ellingson, she is going to be absolutely ticked off at me, but hopefully I don't put a curse on him. Give me Jake Ellingson right there in the 27. Well, folks, Here we go. The next round of the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series is underway here at Pocono Raceway. 3 turns, 2.5 miles. And Tyler Justice jumps away with the lead. Eddie Smith slipping back a little bit. Regis Clark already trying to jump up to the top side. They're looking 3 wide going into 1. Justice leads them off of turn 1.
Yeah, really close battle for the lead between Justice and Regis Clark. They are nose to tail. Regis looking to the inside as they get down here to the tunnel turn. Going to be close between them as they go through turn 2.
Yeah, Regis Clark just straight up bypassed. Damn, we got one in the wall way back there. Slapped the fence hard. May have a little bit of tire damage or wheel damage, however you want to look at it. Watch how fast
we've got a car around already.
Big spinner back here.
That was a big wreck. It looks like that may have been Mike Browning, I believe, in the 4, or possibly, yeah, Mike Browning in the 4. A couple of McLaren cars out there. It looks like Jake Ham in the 85 as well. I'm seeing a few other meatballs on track. Ricky Sisk in the 12 as another one that got caught up as we take a look back at what happened. And it looked like there was actually about 2 different incidents going on at the same time there, Jake.
Yeah, it absolutely did. You hate to see that right there from Mike Browning. I mean, just so much going on literally in one lap. And remember, folks, they do have that one fast repair to their advantage. And the bad part is some of them's going to have to burn it up already. Once again, Mike Browning in the 4, he got help. I mean, he got a whole lot of help. Driver right behind him, Kevin Price, runs him straight over, knocks him straight up into the wall. What the hell happened to Jake Ham and the others to get the meatball flags? I'm not 100% exactly what happened to them. Actually, it was to stack up behind them. They saw the action take place. We'll see kind of what happens right here with everything else going on. You got one up into the wall, gets knocked up into the wall. And then here we go, Mike Browning diving down. See, actually, no, that's Jake Ham. Ham gets tagged, set up into the wall. Damn, he gets a hard hit. Knocks the whole front wing off of his car. You see Browning up there sideways as well. So by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 6 drivers out of the whole field are going to have to burn that fast repair very, very early on.
Yeah, just a little bit of housekeeping here. We've got Brock Price, Daniel Parks, Ricky Sisk, Jake Ham, Kevin Price, and Mike Browning all all getting a meatball there on that wreck. And you know what, Jake? Another piece of housekeeping that we're going to take care of here as they pace under caution. You remember how we said what was going to be stronger, my ability to screw over whoever I pick? Yeah. Or Patrick Trabick on ovals? Well, if you look over on the scoring pylon, you'll see him in dead last right now, 2 laps off the pace. That's because a storm came through and knocked out his internet right as we were taking the green flag. I swear you cannot write this any better for the man that I picked at the beginning of this race. It wasn't even on the track this time. It was the damn weather rolling through.
Lucas is going to have to get that jinx or the commentator curse. He's going to have to get that leaderboard back up there. I think he might have, wow, I mean, they didn't even get the damn race started and you already got busted on that one. Up front, Regis Clark leads it. Tyler Justice, Eddie Smith, Jake Ellenson, and Brandon Evans, the top 5. They stay out. A couple of others looking to jump down pit road. Jake Ham and others that had those meatball flags, they are going down pit road. They have already worked their way out, so they're working their way going into turn number 3. A long way around this place for them to get back going green, probably coming back to the 1 to green. So we'll step aside real quick, let you hear from some of our great sponsors with Goat Locker. We'll be right back here at Pocono.
here, Josh Adams.
Thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Folks, there you saw right there, InVets. And real quick, as we are getting ready for a restart, InVets aids in transition into civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to the state and to live and work. So thank you very much to InVets. They are the title sponsor for the Sunday Truck Series here with Goat Locker. As we're getting ready for a little restart. Regis Clark up front, hits the line, hits the box, now hits the line. We're back underway here at Pocono. Big jump right here by Regis Clark. Tyler Justice trying to latch onto him any way he can to get the draft. Right behind him. Woo, baby, big move by Ellingson down to the inside of Eddie Smith. Smith gets the run. Clark leads him off one.
Yeah, big move to the inside, and you can see it. Jake looked like he clipped the apron just a little bit going through one. Got a little wiggle out of that car as they are all over each other going down into the tunnel turn. Those big leads that they have aren't going to last long with the hole that these things punch in the air. And I think we actually have our second caution of the night coming out here. Believe that it may have involved the 43 of Brock Price. As you can see him sitting on the inside of the track there with a few parts and pieces missing on that machine. We'll have to queue up the V-Speed instant replay and see exactly what happened to him here. Going through the tunnel turn, it looks like he just got just a little bit tight off of two, and that was all she wrote.
He nails the inside retaining wall, hit the outside, then hits the inside retaining wall. 43 Brock Price riding on board, hauling the mail in what I like to call hold my beer corner. I know they call it the tunnel turn, but I like to call this one hold my beer corner here at Pocono. And it was hold my beer, but I think he might have dropped his beer and tried to get it, but he might have left his foot on the gas too much. Drove it right up into the outside retaining wall. Bam! Brock Price down, had to tow, which there is a time that you got to sit on pit road if you decide to tow. If they got that fast repair, they can pull right down pit road, hit that fast repair, then get right back out there, no problem. If they tow, it's got to be, it really depends on where they're at on the track, how far away they are from pit road as to how long that time limit will be. So Brock Price will be sitting there for a little bit, may go one lap down. And the 43 Brock Price already a kind of interesting start, I guess, to this race with the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. And speaking of Lincoln Tech, Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they are the title sponsor of right here, what you're watching here on a beautiful Wednesday night on V-Speed, the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. So thank you very much to Lincoln Tech. Daniel, buddy, we were talking in the green room. Obviously, Patrick Dravick is not pleased with you right now. He has said a couple of choice words. We cannot say those live on air. Because it gets door banging download style on something, what he said. So he's not too happy with you right now. But Lucas has already said that, he'll give you another pick. So who else's race do you want to screw up here tonight, Dan?
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you what, y'all are just so generous with the extra picks. And with the, with just giving me the opportunity here, I think, I think most of our drivers are probably, hiding for cover right now. And thankfully, you already picked Jake Ellingson, because if I picked him, I think Mama Ellingson might be making a trip to West Virginia to come hunt me down. So, uh, you know, I, you know what? Let's pick another one of the boss men over here. Let's pick Eddie Smith in the 87. I've been watching him just get better and better every week so far. Eddie, if that tide ride ends up upside down in a hot dog stand, or over in Hold My Beer turn, as you called it, Jake, I'm sorry in advance, but you know what? You're the guy I'm picking for the rest of this race. See if you can break the curse here.
Well, you know the old saying. It sounds to me, honestly, like Daniel could be possibly going to get fired if Eddie Smith ends up getting busted, gets wrecked right here. Daniel could be in a little bit of a bad spot out of that. I'm sticking with Jake Ellingson. I mean, the way I look at it, they're up in Wisconsin, and Georgia's a pretty far drive, if you will, if he ends up screwing it up. But I got a little bit of faith in Jake. Hopefully he'll at least keep it straight out there and not get it all over the place and get it wonky, getting a wreck any way that he can. Regis Clark still holds on with the lead with Tyler Justice, your pole center, sitting in second. Eddie Smith, Jake Ellingson, Brandon Evans still holding on to the top five. And, we talked a little bit about this, Daniel. We talked about, the oval tracks and how, Patrick Dravick was good on those tracks, but not, and I'm not trying to, get into that boat with Patrick already 5 laps down, but the moves that we saw in Indianapolis, I mean, we were sitting here like we couldn't sit here and just BS around. Every 5 seconds, somebody's slingshotting going for the lead. Somebody's doing something. There's moves that's being made all the time. 3 wide, looking 4 wide slingshot maneuvers. These tracks right here, Pocono, Michigan, Indy, all these big tracks really showcase what these Lincoln Tech Indy cars can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And we even started to see it a little bit there on that last restart that we had, as they were approaching Hold My Beer corner, and as they went down whatever that short straightaway is you want to call that, Drink My Beer straightaway, I guess we can call that one. We saw the run start to generate. I think if we could get a good green flag run going here, we're going to see a lot of what we saw at Indianapolis with the draft and everything. So pace car is going to get ready to pull off here. See if we can get them racked up again and get some good runs going.
Let's see what we can do. Pace car is off. Clark, Justice, Smith, Ellingson, Evans, top 5 hit the box and hit the line. Clark, big jump, huge jump. Honestly, I was going to think about picking Clark with just how fast and just how consistent. Granted, he was, obviously your point leader, but I did not want to pick him just for spite of being the point leader. I had to go with somebody else. So I stuck with Ellingson. There you see Brandon Evans trying to get a little run. Ellingson way down on the bottom of the racetrack trying to put the block on him going into Hold My Beer corner.
Yeah, and as you look at our scoring pylon over on the left, Tyler Justice in second. He is closing in on the leader. That is our producer, Lucas Lyons, pick tonight. Tyler Justice into 33. We're going to see if the producer curse is a thing. They're going to be side by side off of 3 with Eddie Smith in tow close behind.
Yeah, I mean, if Tyler Justice ends up wrecking out, Jake Ellingson ends up wrecking out, and Eddie Smith ends up wrecking out, you'll probably see a whole brand new broadcast crew when we go to the race next week. Oh, baby, Evans put a jump block right on Ellingson, and we're looking 3 wide up here at the front for the lead. Smith on the bottom, Justice stuck in the middle, Clark up top. Smith takes advantage. He jumps down to the bottom, and now everybody trying to chase down the 87 of Eddie Smith.
And what a move by Eddie Smith there. He went top to bottom going into the tunnel turn and just did an absolute power move with that run that he got. We were just talking about it before we went back green. We saw it at Indianapolis, 2-3 wide, all these massive runs. You can see just how much Tyler Justice is able to close. He's going to look for the lead back on Eddie Smith as they head down into turn 1.
way over 200 miles an hour. These Indy cars, Lincoln Tech Indy cars, are going at 42 seconds a lap. Eddie Smith hit just a second ago as he will dive down to the inside of Tyler Justice in turn 2. Smith takes back to the lead. Justice goes back to second. Regis Clark slipping back just a little bit. May slide into the clutches of Brandon Evans for that third spot. But Eddie Smith putting on the power, putting on the heater, if you will. And Tyler Justice was actually right on his back door. Smith gets a big old advantage going into turn number 1.
But you can see it there on our scoring pylon. That advantage was almost 0.4 of a second coming out of turn 3. Tyler able to close it up within a 10th. Eddie does pull the lead back as they go through turn 1. The battle is on for P3, though, between Regis Clark and Brandon Evans. You can see just how close they are. See if Brandon can get a run. It's going to follow Regis for now as they go through turn 2.
Jake Ellinson sitting right there behind them, as well as Jason Kristen and Kevin Orlando Jr. in the 52, trying to make his presence felt as well. And there you see back there behind them, you've also got Devin Smith, Jake Ham, all these others trying to make moves. Back up front, Justice to the inside, Eddie Smith, new leader. Honestly, I got a feeling, Daniel, we could be in the same boat that we was in Indianapolis, where we saw a huge amount of lead changes, but those were official lead changes. Whatever you're going to see tonight as far as the lead changes goes, I got a feeling if you double it, possibly triple it, you will have the unofficial lead changes here tonight at Pocono.
Yep, you said it. We saw it time and time again. Seeing it already here tonight. Eddie Smith about 0.3 of a second back of Tyler Justice. Going to see if he can get a run down this front straightaway. Everybody pretty well staying in line down the straightaways, which a little surprising. You know, a lot of times you'll see him kind of snake down the straightaway, try to break that draft, and try to keep those guys behind them. But for now, everybody content to just follow and just log a little bit of laps here.
Absolutely. And real quick, while we're at it, let's talk a little bit about this weather that not only these Lincoln Tech drivers are trying to get around Pocono, let's talk about this track. And damn, how did we miss that? Air temp, 78 degrees, track temp. Good Lord have mercy. Put a stake out there on it. 130 degrees on the track temp. Daniel, I got a feeling that's going to really play a big factor for these drivers with just how hot it is. It's going to be real greasy. They're going to be slipping. They're going to be sliding. You don't want to be in that situation. You don't want to be out of control, especially at well over 200 miles an hour all the way around Pocono.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one thing about it, we're used to seeing with the stock cars as we watch this battle for position between 5th, 6th, and 7th here with Orlando going to the inside of Jason Kristen. We're used to seeing with the stock cars. If you get a little sideways, you can counter steer it. You can drive out of it. There's things that you can do where you can drive a loose race car. But that is not necessarily the case with these Indy cars. When they start to go around, they go around. It doesn't matter how fast your hands are in that thing. If it starts to get loose, you're probably not going to save it. So you definitely want to take care of your tires. Try not to heat that right rear up too much. Try to keep them underneath of you throughout the run.
Yeah, I mean, just ask Young Money, Kyle Larson, about his little deal at the Indianapolis 500. Just a little bit loose, knocks it out of the way, ends up slipping, sliding, going around. Real quick, Lucas, if we can, let's get an onboard with you just pick a driver. Any driver, Tyler Justice, Eddie Smith, whichever one. And let's get on board and let's kind of give everybody that telemetry exactly and let everybody kind of see with what we're dealing with. You're riding on board with Eddie Smith right up behind Tyler Justice. You see it, 5th gear, 220 miles an hour, hauling the mail going into the corner. The RPMs never really change. I mean, you're sitting right there, well over 10,000 RPMs, getting up, 11, 14, 15, just going up through it, and then all the way up through there, but not changing the gear. Daniel, obviously, these Indy cars, these Lincoln Tech Indy cars, they do go up to a 6th gear, but we're starting to see everybody want to keep it in that 5th gear. And, Daniel, I think a lot of that has got to do with not the straightaways, but being able to keep the RPMs up, especially when you're going through these corners.
Yeah, it just gives you a little bit better drive off the turn, keeping the RPMs up, keeping it wound up like that. I actually heard Patrick Drabick mention it earlier when I was talking to him before the race and giving him fair warning that I was going to pick him earlier tonight. That he said that it was a fifth gear track, but he felt like maybe when you're in the draft, sixth gear might come into play. It looks like we may have had a little bit of contact there between the 27 and the 82, or no, I'm sorry, that was the 52 of Orlando. And I'm going to respect Mama Ellingson's wishes. She told me do not say Jake. Well, she actually told me not to say Ellingson either, but I wasn't talking about him, so I don't think that counts. I'm just going to say driver 27 tonight and try not to put that jinx on him. But yeah, talking about that onboard, just keeping the engines wound up, keeping the momentum wound up. And the most impressive thing that I saw out of that onboard, you know what? I think maybe I might have had a little bit of a jinx there. But the most impressive thing I saw out of that onboard was Eddie Smith very, very briefly dropped under 200 miles an hour, and that was at about 198. So these guys are just absolutely hauling it around here, hardly seeing under 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those cool things to see here at Pocono. Honestly, I wish we would go to Michigan here in this Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. I'd love to see these cars race at Michigan just with the speeds and everything that they have. But next week we'll go to Long Beach, and then after that, Nashville Super Speedway. So that will be a good one right there out of the next 2 weeks. We saw that point battle. It will come into play big up there with Tyler Justice, Regis Clark, all those guys battling for the points lead. But I would love to see these suckers run at Michigan because, I mean, you can't get much more than that for the speed. But they're making it work. Here tonight is Jake Ellingson trying to make something happen right here, trying to get up here with Kevin Orlando Jr., but Orlando Jr. way up here in the fifth spot and not too far back from Ellingson. But watch this back door because Jason Christen's starting to close in a little bit, put a little bit of pressure up on Jake Ellingson right there coming off turn one, and here comes Christen down to the bottom side.
Yeah, making a move on the bottom here as they head off into the tunnel turn. Going to see if Jason Christen can make it stick. Not quite. Jake fights back on the outside. Christen going to have to fall back in line behind him. Good defensive move on the outside there from Jake, keeping that momentum up. You see Devin Smith in that 24, not lurking very far behind this battle. And, Jake, another name that we might want to keep an eye on here as we go through, that ninth place car, Jake Ham in the 85. When we had our last caution, he actually came down pit road, topped off with fuel. Since we have unlimited tires, I can only assume that he took tires as well. And when he stopped, it would put him really, really close to being able to do a one-stop strategy for the rest of the race compared to all these other guys that would have to stop twice. So something to keep an eye on if this thing does go green for a substantial time. Could play right into the hands of that 85 car.
I mean, it really could, Daniel, and we talked about how these, Indy cars, how they suck up so good in the draft, just straight up, bam, suck right up to them. You can damn near run half throttle behind somebody and save a lot of fuel in these Indy cars just with how the aerodynamics is. To just ride half throttle, get right in behind them, and just let the lead car basically tow you all the way around Pocono. So that could play a big factor with Jake Ham to possibly do that one-stop strategy. It could really bust, honestly, some brackets or bust some bubbles, for some picks. Here tonight, I was talking about Jake Ham, in the 87s league that, we call on Tuesday nights with myself and Logan Thurkill. When Jake being good in them, I just haven't really seen him do anything in this Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. But with that strategy could play out for Jake Ham. And Jake Ham could be one of those guys like you were talking about, Daniel, that we may be talking about here less than 50 laps to go.
Yeah, it could play right into his hands. As you can see here, while we were talking about that, battle for the lead getting closer now between Tyler Justice in that 33, Eddie Smith in the 87, just about 0.3 of a second between the two of them. And we're going to see what kind of run Eddie can generate down this straightaway. You can see just how fast the closing speed is. He's going to get right up on the rear wing of that 33 car. Going to look to the outside. Don't think he's quite got the momentum, but, might be teeing something up here for a little bit later.
Yeah, and we got a couple of other battles going on as well as Eddie Smith will fall back in line. Flip-flop back. Damn, Brandon Evans. Just when we were flipping, I was sitting here watching him, and Evans was thinking about going to the top side of Regis Clark. And unfortunately, Clark didn't really move. He was thinking Clark was going to jump down, put the block on him, as now Eddie Smith will work his way around Tyler Justice. But Brandon Evans straight up KO'd Regis Clark in the back end and nailed him. Right into the back end, knocked the whole right front wing off of his car. Kevin Orlando Jr. back there with him. Jake Ellingson battling with Devin Smith. We got battles all the way around the place. As there you see the battle, Devin Smith, Jake Ellingson way up the racetrack in turn one.
Yeah, just a big slide there out of the 27. I thought he was going to catch a piece of the wall. Able to hang on to it, though. Devin Smith moves up into the 6th place. Solid run so far for him tonight. You can see Jason Kristen close behind in 8th. And, that's something that could just be a product of dirty air, too, with that big slide. You could even see it off of turn 3 there. But, as we take a look back here at the front, battle for the lead again. Tyler Justice back around Eddie Smith. But, these Indy cars have a lot more tools at their disposal than what we're used to seeing with the NASCAR stuff. So, driver's going to be working that, going to be messing with the fuel maps, try to make it to the end, and try to use what they can to offset that dirty air. And one of the tools that they do have is an anti-roll bar that they can actually adjust in the car. And earlier, our producer Lucas Lyons actually did a quick walkthrough of that as we take a look at the battle for the lead. Going to get ready to talk about that under the helm segment, but we're going to watch this battle for the lead as they keep trading it back and forth first.
As Eddie Smith still holds on to that bad boy, Tyler Justice trying to close the gap any way that he can. Excuse me. Back there, I was saying Glad, but I'm thinking Clark, because Regis Clark back there in the 3rd spot. I mentioned Regis Clark because he is 2.5 seconds back. Tyler Justice, Eddie Smith, as hard as they are battling up here for this lead, they have straight up pulled away from Regis Clark. And also with Brandon Evans back there, even with that right front wing a little bit knocked around, or just how much they was moving around. But for the most part now, Tyler Justice slides back into 2nd, and then you got Eddie Smith still holding down the lead. So while everything has calmed down for a second, which odds are it'll probably spur up pretty damn quick, but while it's calmed down for just a split second, let's go ahead and do the Under the Helm with Lucas Lyons.
Welcome back to another segment of Lincoln Tech Under the Helm. As we take a look at our cutaway car and go into the cockpit here, today we will be talking about the anti-roll bars. As you see here, with the silver lever that is sticking out of the cockpit, the drivers can adjust their anti-roll bars. There's one on either side, and it affects how tight or loose the race car gets. Now, let's go back to Jake and Daniel up in the booth to continue our coverage from Pocono.
Well, thanks again to our producer, Lucas Lyons, for giving us that walkthrough of the anti-roll bar, one of the tools that these drivers have, something we've been touching on throughout the season for the folks at home that may not be quite as familiar with these Indy cars and some of the tools that the drivers have to try to help out how those cars are handling. As we come back, see that battle for the lead still settled out pretty well for right now, and Jake, we're going to be closing in on green flag pit stops here soon, as we do see a side-by-side battle between Orlando and Smith for 5th. Looks like Kevin Orlando is going to be able to hold on to it for now, but green flag stops should be pretty close here on the horizon, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, it really honestly will be, and I cannot wait to see how that's going to work out, because as we mentioned a while ago, Daniel, these guys, we'll just go ahead and just be point blank at it. they're hauling ass all the way around this track. They are moving over 200 miles an hour. The big thing about it, I was talking about it a second ago. If we get some green flag pit stops, pit road speed limit at 55 miles an hour. We saw that a while ago with the race details. That will play a big factor. We saw a little bit of that when we was at Indy. Honestly, Daniel, we saw a little bit of that when we got us a green flag pit stop right there before it all, or everything went all to chaos. But right there at the end of it, we were seeing those green flag pit stops and how guys were just trying to tap on the brakes, and they would lock them up. I mean, as hot as the track is, which actually went up a degree at 131 degrees, slipping, sliding, greasy on the tires and everything. When they're trying to go into pits and they barely just tap on that brake, you're basically sliding. I mean, literally sliding on greasy old tires, trying to hold on to it. That's going to play a big factor going from well over 200 miles an hour all the way down to 55.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Plus, you're not really using the brakes a whole lot here. As you see on our pit stop timer, Jake Ham, I'm going to say this may be a delayed broadcaster curse. It looks like he is on pit road and actually has a meatball of all things. Saw a big move while we were talking there where he went from top to bottom off of turn 3. May have gotten into the wall or may have gotten into another car out on the track. Didn't quite see what happened to the 85 there, but he had already used his fast repair earlier in the night, so whatever damage he's got, that is, in all likelihood, going to take him out of the running for a win or even a top 10 here this evening. As you can see on that pit stop timer, he's been on pit road for quite a while. And Kevin Orlando Jr. also joined him on pit road. He is going to kick off our green flag stops.
One thing about it, we saw one way back there in the back look like he almost nailed the outside retaining wall. Not sure who that was. Go figure. I was just fixing to say give Daniel Cunningham 2 on the score, but may as well go ahead and give me 1 on that one as well, as Jake Ellingson hit the wall. So Mama Ellison's going to probably make herself a good little trip down to Georgia, and I'm pretty much screwed, I guess you could say, Daniel. I'm pretty much screwed on that one. But you got a little bit loose. We saw it right there on the broadcast, just coming off of turn 1. I mean, but it's going to happen, Daniel. We talked about the track tip the way it is. These cars out of control. Not to mention, like you were talking about, also with the steering box. These steering boxes, as well as Jake Ellison, black flag for speeding, so add me another one on it, I guess. But these steering boxes, it's not like a steering ratio. Like say for me and you, Daniel, where we, run the Xfinity cars or the trucks or the 87s that we broadcast here on V-Speed with Goat Locker on Tuesday nights for Cruising Classics Retro 87s. It's not a steering ratio. These guys got like what is more or less a damn steering pinion box, which is what you will see on a next-gen Cup Series race car. And these steering boxes are very, very tight, and that's what they're running with more or less here on these Lincoln Tech Indy cars, because it is a very, very tight box on, on these bad boys. There is a steering pinion, there's, it goes by teeth, which I ain't never said anything like that, but the steering pinion going by damn teeth, but I mean, it is what it is. By the way, Greg Cross, thank you very much. Have a good trip, Mama Ellison. So I mean, they're pretty much going and packing the bags. They're coming to Georgia. It sounds like, Daniel.
Yeah, they're coming to your neck of the woods. So if you know any good steakhouses or if you know any good restaurants or attractions down there, you might want to have a list ready for ones to hit up. As we take a look here, Jason Kristen is actually in the lead, and as you see also there, race control, black flag for Devin Smith, speeding on pit road. We caught him coming down and making that turn onto pit road, and it's such a huge drop. You're going from running the 200 and some odd miles an hour down to 55. These cars do have pit limiters in them for when you're going down pit road to keep you from speeding, but that does not automatically get you there. You still got to get it woed down to get onto the pit road. Going to take the 24 out of contention here.
And as well as Jason Kristen, he has already jumped down pit road, making his pit stop. As we speak right now, Charles Abert now will reassume the lead. There you see Eddie Smith right there in the 87. Libke now sitting in the second spot. Kristen still down on pit road, and a couple of others back there as well, getting ready to make their moves, make some dire moves as we're closing in on 30 laps to go here at Pocono for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. And for the most part, everything calm, cool, collected for a couple of drivers. There's a couple of them that's already got busted for black flags. You just got to sit here and wonder with some of these others is now Charles Abert in the 7. He's going to jump down pit road at this point, and that will surrender the lead. Once he gets back around, it will surrender the lead back to the 87 of Eddie Smith, who has got about a 2-second lead right now over Tyler Justice.
Yeah, you know, we keep talking about the pit strategies. We were talking about it as we went through that green flag cycle. Charles Abert, Jamie Lipke, the last two of our lead lap runners to come down pit road, and it was right at the very edge of what we said was a fuel run earlier, that 32 lap mark, whereas most of these other guys, yeah, they made it past halfway, but we had the few cautions earlier, so that's going to help out with the fuel mileage and how long you're able to stretch it. So that's the big thing that I'm going to be looking at. You've got Eddie Smith up there in first, Tyler Justice third, Regis Clark, Kevin Orlando, Brandon Evans, your top 5. But then you start looking a little farther back. Jason Kristen was able to stretch it. Jamie Lipke, Charles Abert, as we mentioned. I think one of them guys might be able to get up there and steal one if they're able to make the fuel last and this thing runs green to the end.
Well, honestly, Daniel, that would not be a first as far as fuel strategy goes with Pocono, because Pocono obviously is one of those tracks where we've seen a lot of fuel strategies pop up and come into play. Real quick, seeing out there, Ray Allenson, obviously, how long was his speeding penalty? I'm assuming she's talking about Jake Ellingson. Ellingson's the speeding penalty, usually it's around 40 seconds is usually what they hit it for. It doesn't really matter how fast you're hauling the mail going down pit road. Usually it's about a 40-second hold for a black flag, but as long as he was sitting there, he had a meatball flag when he hit the wall coming off of 1, so that's why he was sitting on pit road for quite some time. Well, folks, while everything's calmed down, for the most part, we got to thank some more sponsors. Make sure we pay some bills with Goat Locker and with V-Speed. If anything crazy happens before never mind, screw it, we got a caution, we got a spinner right there, oh baby, right there in front of Jason Kristen and others coming off of turn 1. We were just getting ready to do us an ad, and damn good thing we did not, as we got the spinner of Ricky Sish Jr. in the 12, bunted out going into turn 1. Daniel, this may change everything. It may get it a little bit interesting right here. But Sis coming off of pit road, you see him on the apron, that blue line, gotta stay, you gotta cross that blue line, but comes up. He could have already came up before he got to the corner. He just had to stay on and hit that blue line and then shoot right back up, or he could have got back up in the groove. But he straddled that white line going through the corner, and honestly, or yellow line rather, Daniel, that literally will bite you every single time.
Yeah, and it's possible that, you know, he was just trying to stay low, let some of those faster cars that were already out on track come by. And we had talked about it, just how quick these things snap around. Even at the slower speeds, gets on that transition from the apron up to the banking and just comes around on Ricky. So that is going to bring us out the caution. And like you said, Jake, that's going to change things, because you can take everything that we were talking about for fuel strategy, pit strategy. Can some of these guys make it? Can some of them not make it? You might as well take all that and throw it out the window now, because this is going to put everybody where they are in that window. You can see up there, we've got 28 laps to go. This is going to put everybody in that window where they come down pit road here, fill her up with fuel. You're going to be able to make it to the end without any green-white checkers.
Fill her up. I'm telling you, Daniel, obviously, you hang around with a redneck announcer long enough, you're going to end up speaking like a redneck before it's all said and done. Everybody jumping down pit road may have one that's going to stay out. It's going to be J Cam. He's going to try to go ahead and get that wave around, get back all, or at least 2 laps down. We got one guy that got the lucky dog, and that was Devin Smith. So Devin Smith will be the beneficiary to get the lucky dog, get right back on the lead lap. Remember, unlimited sets of tires So these guys, odds are every single one of them, at least I would, take 4 tires, fill it up, like you said, run that sucker all the way, and Eddie Smith beats everybody off of pit road. Right in behind him, you got Tyler Justice, Regis Clark, and Kevin Orlando Jr. back there with Brandon Evans and others. Well, folks, now we're going to go ahead and take that commercial break. Stick around. We'll be right back here at Pocono.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
Well, folks, we're back here at Pocono. Just got through having a little grammar lesson with our great producer, Mr. Lucas Lyons. And there you saw just a second ago with Glove Station. And obviously, at Glove Station, they are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, they got you covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, they want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. Emphasis on they. You should go check out Glove Station anywhere that you can at any point. Well, here we go, Daniel, baby. We're getting ready to get beefy. I got a feeling somebody's going to end up getting into somebody. It's going to be, honestly, I got a feeling it's going to be just like it was at Indy.
Yeah, I think that we are setting up for it. Pace car lights are off. Getting ready to pull down pit road. Grammar school is over here in the broadcast booth. Eddie Smith going to lead us down to the restart zone. Regis Clark, your new second place runner with Tyler Justice in third. Green flag is out. Eddie Smith got the launch. He leads them back to the line as they head off down into turn one.
Regis Clark right in behind him. Tyler Justice, Brandon Evans, Jason Kristen up here inside that top 5. Orlando Jr., Brown, and Libkey, Parks, and Abert back there sitting in 10th way up the racetrack. Up front, though, Eddie Smith. Big old gap. Clark trying to close that gap. Justice trying to run him down as well. Here comes Regis Clark to the inside. Eddie Smith puts the block on him going through. Oh, my beer tunnel turn. But Clark right there with him. Here comes Evans. He dives to the inside of Tyler Justice for third.
And that is our producer, Lucas Lyons, picked Tyler Justice in third. He's going to keep that momentum up on the high side. Brandon Evans slots in behind him in fourth, and that is Jason Kristen talking about him with the strategy up in fifth as Regis Clark to the inside, down into turn one. He is going to clear the 87. He's going to take the lead, but Eddie's going to get the run and fight back. Almost contact between our first and second place cars.
Baby, oh, they are getting tight. They are getting tight. They're getting close, and it's only going to get tighter and closer to where somebody's going to end up getting turned. Eddie Smith got a run. was able to pull it off. Clark made the pass, pulled the crossover. Eddie Smith then goes back to the lead. Smith way up the racetrack. Clark down on the bottom, all the way down to the center where Grandpappy hides the moonshine from Grandma. But here we go. Clark trying to put the draft, trying to get up on Eddie Smith, who worked their way back into turn number 1.
Eddie able to keep that lead down the front straightaway as you see Regis Clark drops back just a little bit. Probably that dirty air coming into play. Out to about 0.4 of a second now for Eddie Smith. Tyler Justice closing in on Regis Clark, it looks like, just a little bit for that second place position. Brandon Evans still lurking close behind in fourth rather. I'm getting a little tongue-tied because I'm trying to watch Brandon Evans keep it out of the wall. He got a little tight off of 2 there.
Yeah, he really did. Almost ended up pounding that outside retaining wall. Remember, folks, this is not like stock cars where if they get up into the wall a little bit, they can just rock and roll and carry on. We saw that already with numerous other drivers sliding up the racetrack, tapping the wall, and then all hell ends up breaking loose, much like it was with Jake Ham in the 85 and also with the 27 and Jake Ellingson. Eddie Smith back to the lead, over a half a second, damn near up almost a second now over Regis Clark. Actually, no, that is at a half a second. Tyler Justice, the one that's back about a second. Go back about another 0.3 back to Brandon Evans. And then you got Jason Kristen. Everybody, more or less, they're spread out, but nobody is too far spread out. Everybody's still got enough of room to where they can put the draft on them and carry on and get going. But, Daniel, I got to ask you, we talk about this push to pass all this time and everything else, as we saw with Under the Helm. I believe Lucas Lyons might have been talking about it. I mean, these guys use a little bit of that right here, right? I mean, or is that all just for the road courses?
That is only for the road courses. So no push to pass here. All these runs that we see that are generating, that is all just from the draft. And these cars, it's way more than anything that you see in NASCAR. It's more of a draft than the ARCA car, the trucks, any of them. And it's just so much momentum that you get, and that's why you can kind of see it a little bit earlier. Saw those cars snaking down the front straightaway a little bit, trying to break that draft, and you can see Tyler Justice using it to his advantage, closing in on the back wing of Regis Clark in that 8 car. As we're going to take a look on board, Tyler actually using 4th gear through turn 1, something a little different than what we saw when we were riding on board with Eddie Smith earlier. But you see he gets just an absolutely massive run down the straightaway, keeping it in 5th gear through Hold My Beer turn, and he's going to try to get that momentum on the 8 car, see if he can grab that 2nd spot.
Yeah, see, I mean, he's doing something that I wouldn't even be able to try to do. I'm not that, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm not that coordinated. That's what I was going to say. I'm not that coordinated to try to shift going into the corner and then shift coming out and everything else. That's why I hate road courses. That's why I hate the next gen cars. Too much damn shifting. Leave it alone. I'm gonna end up getting on a beef rant, and I'm not even wanting to try it. I mean, I'm trying to be a good boy. I'm a little boy now. I'm trying to be a good boy. I'm trying not to do anything crazy. Eddie Smith, though, doing all kinds of crazy up here, holding it down, getting gone. Clark about over a second back from Tyler Justice, who is sitting right there in front of him, who just got him ready for 2nd. Clark sitting there in 3rd, battling it out. Evans not too far back from them, but Eddie Smith, who got the lead, went around Clark and is straight up gone. And really, I'm telling you, Justice is kind of on the move right now. Justice may have something for Eddie Smith. He may be able to run him down.
Yeah, Tyler's talked about it. He has won more official races, I believe he said, in the Indy cars than any other car. It's the one that he feels really comfortable with. You can see that gap starting to come down a little bit. It was up at 1.2 seconds. He's got it cut down to almost a second flat right now. Under a second, actually, as we go through turn 3. Almost said 3 and 4 out of force of habit. Turn 3. No turn 4 here. He was 0.3 faster than our leader, Eddie Smith. If he keeps that pace up, he's going to be there in just a couple of laps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he will be rocking and rolling. See it out there. What's up with Mr. Jake's sound tonight? I'm not sure. I mean, do I sound all right, Daniel? Am I a little bit off? Am I knocked out? Do I feel a little bit off?
There's
Your
been a
sound
couple
not-
times. There's been a couple times where I think you faded out a little bit, but you know what? We've got storms hitting all over the place around
Oh,
here, so
yeah.
I thought it was just me, honestly, at first.
Well, it
Uh,
may be both of us. So it gets a little bit spotty like that sometimes. Usually it doesn't do that. So just maybe a little bit of spottiness, a little bit of weather. You know, obviously we got a little bit of weather floating around all over the place. So, or hell, it could be Disney Plus playing over there in the bedroom with the kid. Who knows at this point? But Eddie Smith, check this out right here. Tyler Justice is starting to close that gap now on Eddie Smith, Daniel. And he's closing enough of a gap to where he's going to have enough to get close enough to him to where there will be an option for him to get that draft and be able to suck up to him and shoot by him. So Justice is really putting it down, but at what cost? As far as the tire wear and everything else, at what cost is Tyler Justice doing to try to get up here a hold of Eddie Smith?
Yeah, that's the big question here, right? Is how much is Eddie Smith saving? Is he just kind of cruising? How hard is Tyler Justice pushing? What tools are they using inside the cars? These are the questions that we don't know the answer to. But what we do know is Tyler Justice is tracking him down. You can see right there, about a tenth and a half faster than Eddie Smith still that last lap, and he is getting into that range, like you mentioned, where he's going to start to sniff some draft off of that 87 car. And once he does, he should be able to pull right up to the back bumper to be able to try to make a move for the lead.
We'll see how this ends up working out. Check it out. Now the lap times is kind of even out a little bit, if you will, with Justice getting right up there on the back end of Eddie Smith. Could play a little bit of a factor in that as well. We're seeing out there. Yeah, the audio was just a bit visualized and then quieter. So, you know, who knows on as far as the audio goes, but hopefully get some of the weather, get something straightened out. We'll figure it out and we'll get something going. But Eddie Smith holds it down to half a second. Go back another second with Regis Clark back there, and Brandon Evans maybe trying to reel him in and try to go for third as well.
Yeah, Brandon Evans has started to really close that gap on Regis Clark. As you can see on the screen there, definitely got him in the sights. And, you know, that's a little bit, I don't want to say it's surprising as far as Brandon chasing him down, because Brandon's done a really good job with figuring out these cars as they go throughout the season. And so I don't intend that to sound as a knock on him or anything, but more so just with how impressive Regis Clark has been showing speed at every track that we've gone to this season. He's really been in the contention for the win every single race. So I say that just as I'm surprised that Regis ain't up there closer to where the 87 and the 33 are, as we see Brandon Evans really closing in on the back wing of that 8 car. He might be able to try to make a move as they head down the front straightaway. These guys are not going to be playing jump in the line anytime soon. They're going to be throwing blocks and trying to break that draft. See some aggressive moves out of both drivers.
Yeah, I mean, Clark trying to hold it down with Brandon Evans. Evans might have lost a little bit of luster, almost lost it all the way up into the fence. Jason Kristen may end up running him down and trying to go for the 4th spot. At the moment, your podium finishers, if they finished right now, will be Eddie Smith, Tyler Justice, and Regis Clark. Evans trying to get a little bit of luster. He was right there with him. Now Evans slipping back. Kristen's going to shoot by him. Evans slipping back to 6th. Something amiss on the 39. Evans is now going down pit road.
Yeah, and I don't know if maybe there actually was a little bit of contact between the two, maybe some damage on that 39 car. It doesn't look like there's anything visibly that we can see. Maybe a little bit of damage on the left front, and you know, if you've got any damage on these cars at all, they're not durable like what we see on the stock car side. They are, we'll call them fragile for lack of a better term. If you get any kind of damage like that, you're just not going to be able to turn competitive laps.
You hate to see that right there for Brandon Evans, who was looking good here tonight, had a good chance at possibly getting him a podium finish. Unfortunately, does not play out in his favor. Eddie Smith still leads. Justice starting to slip back. Saw him a while ago, was about a half a second. Now sitting in the 2nd spot, about a second back now. Clark about a second back from him. Everybody getting really spread out more than what they was a while ago. could be a possibility right here, Daniel, where we may be in store for a good shot at possibly getting a long green flag run out of that, or could possibly just out of nowhere end up having one of those wild deals where we have a caution out of nowhere.
Yeah, you just never do know with these Indy cars. As you see on our scoring pylon, Eddie Smith still stretching that lead out a little bit over Tyler Justice, up to 1.2 seconds now. And a change for position there. Also, Kevin Orlando got a huge run down the front straightaway. Jason Kristen really just not even fighting there, just letting him go by for fourth place. And, you know, you never know what's going to happen with these things. They can snap around so quick. We've talked about how hot the track temp is tonight. These drivers still dealing with that, getting close to the end on the fuel runs and on these tire runs. So something to keep an eye on, as Tyler Justice is actually starting to cut back into that lead of Eddie Smith's now.
Yeah, little by little as Eddie Smith's lead starting to shrink just a little bit. Tyler Justice still sitting in the second spot with Clark right there in third. And I'm telling you, I mean, you look down through the list of, where everybody is running. There you see Devin Smith trying to work his way right there with Kristen. And the not too far, I should say, back from them is Mike Browning right there trying to get up here and latch on as well. So, I mean, there's still battles all over the place just inside of 10 laps to go. I don't know. I mean, the big question at this point is, like you said a while ago, Tyler Justice, very good in these Lincoln Tech Indy cars. Is he going to have enough of speed? Can he find something deep down to be able to run down the 87 of Eddie Smith? That is going to be the big question. And the other big question is, will this sucker end under green, or at least end on this long green flag run? We'll find out here in a matter of moments.
Yeah, and, shout out real quick to Mike Browning as we watch this battle for position. Mike Browning closing in on that battle between the 24 and the 82. He was caught up in one of those earlier wrecks. I honestly, I can't remember now if it was the first or the second wreck that we had. I believe it was the first one. Had to use his fast repair. Really good recovery for Mike Browning. He is on the back wing of that 82 car. Got his teammate Jake Ham behind him, offering a little bit of draft help. You know he's going to follow him wherever he goes. Jake Ham not in contention for a pass for position there, just trying to help out his teammate and see what he can do here to help him get up, possibly even get a top 5 out of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the good things about having teammates that can really help you out any way that you can. I mean, use your teammates to help you out, even if they are multiple laps down. They can still play a factor into how this race could play out. As there you see Ham and Browning trying to work together as well. The gap between Eddie Smith, Tyler Justice, starting to grow a little bit. Regis Clark now starting to try to run down Tyler Justice. We mentioned these guys up here at the front, not only because they're running 1, 2, 3, but because these guys is up at the top of the point standings. Obviously, Regis Clark up there sitting in the point lead. Eddie Smith up there, not too far. He's about sitting right there in the 6th spot, but he's, 31 points back. So Eddie Smith gets him a couple wins, could be right up into this damn thing. And Tyler Justice only 21 back from Regis Clark. So, we mentioned all these guys up here at the front. The biggest loser I'm seeing out of all of them is Brandon Evans, who is second in the points, and right now currently sitting in the 12th spot. So Brandon Evans, he's right now, he would be the lucky dog should a caution come out. Evans is really cheering on somebody to go out there and tear the crap up and have a shot to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, and he's right there behind Eddie Smith, but really respectful out of Brandon Evans, not forcing the issue. With the faster tires, he honestly probably could get up there and try to get his lap back the old-fashioned way, but I got to respect him for trying to stay out of the way, out of the battle for the win, and not mess that up. And Jake, something that you missed last week with not being on the broadcast, not going to deep dive into it now as we get down inside of 5 to go, watching some battles for position. All I'm going to tell you is go back and watch the last turn between Eddie Smith and Brandon Evans. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's worth the watch.
Was there beef?
No, they were both laughing about it afterwards. But all I'm gonna say is there was a bunch of car parts all over the track. I'm pretty sure they both made it to the checkered flag, but there were a lot of parts hanging and dragging, and it was one of the more entertaining final turns that I think I've ever seen at a road course.
Well, that I'll have to definitely, if I get the opportunity, which I'll probably be up all night here this evening anyway, I'll have plenty of time to at least check it out. Eddie Smith, though, still holding it down up at the front. Tyler Justice still back there, about a second and a half back. Pretty much, if nothing crazy happens, damn, we're getting really close to something happening all the way around right here. Is Clark starting to try to reel in Tyler Justice, Kevin Orlando Jr., all these guys right here in the middle of this, as well as Kevin Orlando Jr. having a very solid night. Real quick, Kevin Orlando Jr., 19th where he started. He's all the way up here inside the top 5 and looking for a podium.
Yeah, definitely a big mover on the evening, and great job working his way up through the field, missing a lot of the carnage early on. You can see he is our biggest mover in the field as we come down to 2 laps to go. He's going to try to get up there and get himself on that podium. And you know what? At the risk of jinxing myself again, I got to point out real quick, Eddie Smith was my redemption pick. He was my redemption pick for the win. He is a lap and a half away from breaking a broadcaster curse. I don't want to say anything too early, but if he can get back around here, we might actually have an end to this thing.
You would bring that up. Like you really would bring that up, wouldn't you? I mean, well, I mean, to be honest with you, as bad as your damn luck's been here lately, I don't blame you. I would actually bring it up as well. 1 to go, Eddie Smith over 2 seconds over Tyler Justice. Eddie Smith got it going on right here, coming off 1 and getting into turn 2. And I tell you what, Daniel, I got a feeling your curse is going to be broken, buddy. Why don't you take it the rest of the way? I'll let you call the finish right here because I know that you're going to be absolutely tickled.
Eddie Smith through Hold My Beer turn and Hold My Beer straightaway. Going through turn 3, Brandon Evans there on his outside, not a factor for the win. Going to keep it respectful. Checkered flag in the air. I think the curse is officially broken. Eddie Smith in that Tide Ride 87. Gonna bring it home in P1 tonight. Your race winner. We've got a big battle for position here. Coming back to the checkered flag, that is Jason Kristen. Not quite the race winner, but a good run back to the checkered flag. Eddie Smith bringing it home in P1 though tonight. And we've got Tyler Justice, Lucas's pick for the win, finishing second. Regis Clark rounding out our podium in third here this evening.
It's got to make you feel good, don't it? It's got to make you feel good. It make me feel good.
It gives me a little bit of job security heading into next week, because if I screwed over both the boss men here in one night, I'd probably be out on the unemployment line. So it's a sigh of relief.
Oh, okay. Well, Eddie Smith right there, you see him working his way down the front straightaway. Here we go, baby. Burn it down, burn it down. What's he going to do with the Tide Ride right here on the front straightaway? See what he does, Eddie Smith. Yes, sir. Going to burn it down right here with the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series here at Pocono Raceway. Pretty good little burnout. Eddie Smith, he's got to get used to some of these burnouts. As we see a couple of takers up there, maybe got to help him out. And he'll back it right into the wall to make sure it will pass Tech. Hit it twice, actually. He's double checking it, making sure it'll pass Tech. I can't blame him one bit for that.
He's trying to make sure it looks like his car did after Sebring last week, I think. But you know what? When you won, you got her across the line. Bounce it off the wall as much as you want. You got this thing finished up.
Well, Eddie Smith, pretty good little drive for him right here. Is going to pay off for him here tonight. Led 44 of the 70 laps here tonight at Pocono. And Eddie Smith will bring it home with the win. You still see him burning it down right here on the front straightaway. He's going to be burning it down for quite some time. Hell, we may be sitting here for a couple of hours before we can actually get an interview with him. Well, I tell you what, while he's burning down, we can't even see his damn car at this point. All there is just straight up smoke. So while we got the opportunity, he's going to burn down probably for the next 2 hours. Real quick, we're going to take a quick commercial break. While he's doing all that, whenever he gets the opportunity to come over here and talk to us, we're going to we'll take a quick commercial break, bring you back for the race results and your podium finishers. We'll be right back here at Pocono.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Well, folks, we're back here at Pocono. We'll see if this headset actually works out a little bit better than the other one. We'll see. You're just trying a couple things technically to see if anything might change to help out everybody else. That way we're not sounding like a bunch of damn robots around here. But we'll go ahead, bring up our race results here tonight at Pocono. Eddie Smith gets it done, wins it here tonight with Tyler Justice coming home in second. Ironically enough, both of these guys started up on the front row. Eddie Smith, Tyler Justice, but they flip-flopped from where they started. Eddie Smith started second. He won. Tyler Justice was your Jam Predicament Promotions Pole Award winner. He will come home in second here tonight. And Regis Clark, exactly where he started at, is exactly where he will finish. Respectable for the point leader here tonight, finishing in the top 3. Kevin Orlando Jr., the biggest mover of the race, started 19th in the race at the start of the night. He comes home with 4th. Devin Smith started 14th. He comes home with a top 5. Mike Browning, good little deal for him. Daniel, you were talking about him a while ago. Started at the start of the race, got busted in that big old pile up through turn 3. Ended up having to burn his fast repair. Still coming home with a 6th place finish, so good for Mike Browning. Jamie Lemke will come home 7th, with Jason Kristen in 8th, Daniel Parks in 9th, and Charles Avert rounds out the top 10.
As we take a look back through the rest of our field, we've got Kyle Deering coming home in 11th tonight. The last car finishing on the lead lap. Brandon Evans coming home in 12th. My original pre-race pick, the guy who is probably ready to boot me out of the league after I picked him, the boss man, Patrick Drabick, rebounding from the earlier issue to finish in 13th. Ricky Sisk Jr. finishing 14th. Jake Hammond 15th. Jake Ellingson 16th. Kevin Price and Brock Price finishing 17th and 18th. Rounding out our field tonight, Tim Bates finishing in 19th.
How about that for all involved? So I guess we're good to go with that one. There is your 19 drivers that started here this evening. And how about this? We'll bring up your race winner, Mr. Tide Ride, Eddie Smith. Bring him up here on the broadcast booth. Eddie Smith, buddy, congratulations on the win. I got to tell you, wild race right there. You had that little battle with Tyler Justice, and then all of a sudden, hammered down, was able to get away from him. Tell us about your race. Congratulations.
Yeah. How about that? That's exciting. I can't believe it. I had no idea I was going to win this one. Let me tell you about my race. I thought Regis was saving early. I didn't really know how the draft and Dirty Air would work. So we got past Regis, and me and Tyler were in Discord together, and we thought it was going to be – I don't think I've ever drove Pocono and Indy, so I didn't know how it would work. I thought maybe it worked like the Indy, and we traded off. And we did that for a little while, and it didn't seem to help. And so, I don't know. I got ahead of him. He said he was just going to ride, so we just kind of stayed there like that for a while once we got done with the cautions. And, came in down pit road. Both of us I think all 3 of us kind of messed up our stops and came out relatively close. And, I was surprised that I had the lead. Once we got that final restart, got out ahead and was able to kind of pull away. So tonight, I guess clean air was king.
Eddie, first of all, just a side note, you may be my saving grace on.
I know you picked me. I heard about it.
Well, now listen, I picked Pat at first, okay? And he didn't even make it the first lap. His internet went out. I'm telling you, the voodoo doll, it wasn't even nothing on track. His damn internet went out. So, I was given a redemption pick, and I was thinking to myself, who do I have the highest likelihood of getting fired if I pick? So I went from one boss man to another here at V-Speed and picked you. So thank you for making me look good with my redemption pick. Did you feel like there was a black cloud chasing you around at any point tonight after I made that redemption pick, or did you feel pretty good out there?
Well, somebody came on Discord. I think it was Devin. He said, "Yeah, Eddie, you're in trouble. They just picked you." And somebody picked you, and somebody picked. So I can't remember who else you picked. And I was like, "Oh God." And so I was just waiting. I was waiting on pins and needles for the dam to break. And I don't know. I guess it's kind of like Final Destination. I guess once you took out Pat, it's going to skip me and then skip the next person and get the next one. So I'll take it either way. You didn't know you could get Final Destination lore.
No, that's a good one. That is not what I expected, but that was the answer that I needed.
That's one way to look at it, with the Final Destination, all that good stuff. I wouldn't even expect that one neither, Daniel. That kind of blew my mind. But Eddie Smith comes home with it here tonight at the Tricky Triangle, and pretty dominating fashion with leading 44 laps here this evening. Eddie, Congratulations on the win, buddy. And as always, thank any sponsors and any shout outs.
Yeah, I mean, I got to thank Todd for that clean air. I got to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22, of course, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, and all the sponsors that we have. Y'all in the booth for doing such a great job. I want to shout out Lucas, not to just pick somebody out, but I'm always going to be more partial to producers. But Lucas, you've been doing a great job, man. I appreciate everything that you're doing, taking initiative, doing cool stuff. That's what it's all about. And I appreciate everybody that's been joining up, broadcasting, doing a hell of a job. Got to thank Pat and Jamie for putting this league on. And then tonight, Tyler Justice, Regis Clark, Brandon Evans, those guys up there we were racing with, man, just put on a fun show. It was a great time.
Well, Eddie Smith gets it done. The Tide ride is clean here tonight. Eddie Smith gets the win at Pocono. Eddie, congratulations on the win, buddy. And we'll see you next week when we go to Long Beach. That's going to be a good one.
Bye-bye.
That was Eddie Smith. We'll send him on. Well, he said hell with it. He's excited, Daniel. I was gonna send him back to the waiting room. He just said bye and just leaves. So I guess he's gonna go get him a little of Grandpappy's moonshine. I guess any way that he can. Second place finisher, Tyler Justice in the house. Tyler, buddy. Damn, I mean, you a pretty good little run for you. You got the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award, led you 13 laps, come home second. Not bad night, buddy. I mean, go ahead and tell us about your race.
Oh yeah, it was pretty good. Me and Eddie were kind of going that first stint. We're kind of going to do the old IndyCar or the Indianapolis leapfrog each other for a little bit. And then I just screwed up on pit road twice and lost track position. And second car on the restart, like when they had that caution, isn't too bad. But third, it was just you just know where to go. So I just got kind of close towards the end. I think I got within like half a tenth or half a second, and just burned up the tire right front in turn one, slid it a little bit. It got hot, and that was it. So it was a good run. It was nice to actually make it more than 2 laps on the oval. So that was fun. And just kind of hate that just couldn't pull it off. Just pit road mistakes, being stupid.
Well, Tyler, like you said, really solid night. I know you wanted that win, but like you said, able to keep it clean, come home in second place. You were also our producer, Lucas Lyons, pick tonight for the race, so making him look good too. Was it really all just the clean air there at the end, or do you feel like if you could have got back to Eddie that you, like, what was your plan if you would have been able to get back up there, or was it just too much of a struggle there once you got too far in on the tires?
Once I got too far in on the tires, it was pretty much over with. Because I think I finished with like an 82% right front, and in practice when I ran a full stint, my right front was like at 93. So I knew he had tire advantage. About halfway, about probably lap 65, I was trying everything, trying front ARB to soften up, trying to get weight jacker in, just trying anything to kind of just get some turn, because I was losing him mainly in turn one. And it just, if I got back to him, it was going to need, like when Brandon came out in the pits, it was going to need them to somehow tangle up. Because I know they got side by side for a little bit, and I was hoping I could get pulled back in with that, but I didn't have anything for him. He had the tire advantage out in clean air. He had all the downforce. So I mean, it was a great win for him. Happy for him, because I know Indianapolis was just not a good time for him on that last lap. So I'm glad he got to finish, got the win. But I didn't have anything if I got to him. The only thing I probably could have done was in turn three, maybe if I got within 2/10 coming into three, I could have went where he didn't and got a big run down the front stretch. But I was just losing too much time in turn one.
Well, Tyler Justice, very respectable for him here tonight, comes home with second. Also, Tyler Justice, remember, up there in a little battle with Regis Clark, was able to jump in front of him, and also Brandon Evans, so he'll make up a little bit of time and a little bit of points on there. But Tyler, buddy, congratulations on second here tonight, buddy. And before we let you go, you got any sponsors and any shout-outs?
Yeah, I want to shout out Jam Printing and Promotions for all the work they do for Goat Locker. Lincoln Tech for sponsoring the series. I'm so glad they were able to bring IndyCar back this summer. Hopefully they can bring it back in the fall. I love this car. I love racing it. V-Speed and you, Jake, Daniel, and Lucas for putting on a great broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch it. Alexander PCs. Also want to thank Majors Esports and Majors Garage. They just brought me on recently as one of their house drivers, so really excited about that. I want to thank Big Fish Barbecue, Save22.vet, and once again, I want to thank y'all for an awesome broadcast, and congrats on the little one, Jake.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Tyler Justice comes home with second here tonight. Tyler, congratulations on that one. And we'll see you at Long Beach when we go there next week, bud.
Yep, appreciate it. See y'all.
That was Tyler Justice comes home with second here tonight. We'll go with your point leader coming in tonight, Regis Clark. He's your point leader. Odds are, depending on how everything plays out, he did lead a couple laps, comes home third. Odds are he will still be the point leader going to Long Beach. Regis, solid night, pretty much. You come home third, lead you some laps, just trying to keep the point lead, at least for tonight and for the next 2 weeks. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I was trying to win it. I was so aggressive at the start and took the lead, hoping that the dirty air would mess up Tyler and Eddie, but they just got some runs and they could stay closer together than I could. I just couldn't. Once they passed me, I couldn't catch back up.
Well, Regis, a really solid run for you tonight. Started third, finished third, like Jake said, led a few laps, good points run. Next week at Long Beach, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know if I own the track yet. I'm pretty sure I ain't never raced there. If I have, it's only been once before. We've seen how strong that you've been this season on the road courses. How are you feeling about next week? And is there anything that maybe worries you about next week, or what's your thoughts going into that one?
I'm really looking forward to it. I bought the track last week and started practicing. I knew that was going to be a tough one, but I'm feeling really good about it. I think it'll be fun. It'll be tough, but if I could get a good starting spot, I think I got a good shot.
Well, I'll tell you this much. You were talking about don't even know if you've got the track. I'm looking right here at mine, and let's see. Do I have Long Beach? Nope. None of us has got damn Long Beach. The only one that does out of all four of us is Regis Clark. So I don't have it. Daniel ain't got it. The main person that really needs it, I guess you could say, is Regis Clark. Not saying that you ain't going to do good or nothing, but you're the one that's actually going to be racing. Lucas is going to have to get it because, hell, we got to see what we're looking at. But Regis, buddy, congratulations on third place here tonight. Appreciate your time. And before we let you go, you got any sponsors, any shout-outs?
Yeah. Obviously iRacing put on a great service. Bud the Yellow Line podcast, Sim Motion, and Lincoln Tech for sponsoring the series. And then obviously Black Sheep Racing with me, Mike Browning, Jake Ham. And again, that charity, Burnouts for Bennett. If you guys can, go donate.
Sounds like a plan right there with Regis Clark coming in tonight. Your point leader. Odds are he will be leaving Pocono with the point lead as well. Regis, appreciate your time. We'll see you at Long Beach next week if we are able to figure out where the hell it's at on the UI, and we'll eventually get it. But, we'll see you there regardless.
All right. Thank you, guys.
That was Regis Clark. And I tell you what, pretty solid night here tonight at Pocono. We would show you a graphic of Long Beach, but I don't even know if Lucas has even got a graphic of the damn thing, to be honest with you. I don't think anybody. Yep, screw it.
He's ready.
Yes, he does. He was ready. I'll bet you right now he got that sent to him by Eddie Smith. Guarantee it. Eddie Smith sent him that one. Yep, called that one right there. But check it out right here. This is going to be interesting, Daniel. Street course. And, we've seen street courses happen in the past. Sometimes they turn out okay. The Chicago street course, NASCAR, it is what it is. But when Indy cars or Formula One or however you want to look at it, when they do these street courses, when they do it well. Much like a Jam Pretty Promotions ad. Literally, it's going to be a pretty good one. Very narrow racetrack as well.
It is a narrow racetrack, but there's some heavy braking zones. There's a couple of pretty long straightaways too. So push to pass going to come into play. You can see it on the graphic there. It's actually a really cool layout, really cool backdrop as they race through the streets of Long Beach. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one. Track's got a lot of character, as street courses tend to do. And bonus out of everything, I just double checked. I actually own the track. I don't remember when the hell I bought it, but I do own it. So I don't have to buy a track for next week. We're going to be ready to roll as we head into week number 7 and round out this summer series for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series.
I don't even have it. Long Beach will be a good one, obviously, next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live and here only on V-Speed. Well, Daniel, real quick, buddy, it's a blast coming back up here in the booth, getting to come back up here and cause some good racing with you. Your final take on a wild one, or honestly, a pretty good wild one here tonight at Pocono.
Yeah, and again, every week these guys in the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series just showing their talents with these cars, how quick they adapt, and just putting on a lot of good racing tonight. Maybe not quite what we saw at Indianapolis, but still a really good show. A lot of passing, a lot of good battles up front. Can't ask for much more out of these cars.
No, I mean, you really can't. I mean, the speed was there. Honestly, with the show that we had at Indy, honestly, I think a lot of that had to do with it being the very first big track, more or less, on the schedule. And then I think when we got to Pocono, I think a lot of that, everybody took it in account from what happened at Indy and might have learned something. That might be why it wasn't as wild as Indy, but still a great race. These guys in this Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series, they always put on a hell of a show, and it will be a good one when we go to Long Beach next week. But, folks, that's going to do it for this broadcast here on V-Speed. Obviously, want to thank all our great sponsors, Save 22, Cruise and Classics, Hemwit Brewery, Invets, Nasty's Restaurant Bar, obviously Glove Station. Can't forget about iRacing, Above the Yellow Line podcast, and obviously Jam Printing and Promotions for the Pole Award winner. And you can't forget about Lincoln Tech, the title sponsor for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. Shout out to the fans for always coming out big numbers, and the drivers for always putting on one hell of a show. Patrick Javick, Jamie Barkus with Goat Locker for allowing us, V-Speed, to come in and broadcast some of the best racing on iRacing. And also want to thank Adam Baker and others over at V-Speed as well. For Double L, Lucas Lyons, and also for my good buddy, Daniel Cunningham, I'm the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. And as I always say, be safe, be kind, be fast. Oh, baby, I'm telling you right now, we need some sun, baby. We're going to get a lot of it next week. Long Beach, road course, street course racing with Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. Don't want to miss it. The water fountains, the dolphins, all kinds of stuff. Look like they even got Bubba Burgers. I'm going to have to get me one of them bad boys, grill it up good and fine with some French fries. It's going to be a good one. You do not want to miss it. Long Beach, next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live and only on V-Speed. We will see you there.